Hey y'all, here for an unboxing video by request actually. So y'all know that I'm into flight sims and I have this bad boy, the Windwing Orion 2 throttle that simulates the throttle assembly for an FA-18 Hornet carrier-based fighter. It is fantastic. It is just such an amazing piece of kit. It has really clicky buttons. I love this thing to death, and plan on using this with flight sim, with DCS, multiple button presses and what have you. Sorry for the dust, it's been kind of like away for a little bit, but like I said, very clicky, very everything. It's pretty awesome, pretty nice. All sorts of features and buttons that can be mapped. This throttle here can actually be unhinged together so that they can be a split assembly. And again, part of my dust here. So I can individually power the individual engines on a Hornet, because the Hornet has 2 engines. However, mostly I just keep them intact, and they're locked in place with that little thing, and there it is. So all sorts of buttons and knobs and knickknacks, and again, it's very, very cool. There's even an afterburner detente, but I don't have it on right now. This little switch right here, or lever, I guess, usually unlocks it, but just because of what I do on a day-to-day, I don't normally have it. So I can bind all sorts of stuff here. I love the fact that you've got stuff like gear, your parking brakes, your flaps, the retractable hook for landing on an aircraft carrier, all that good stuff. I love the fact that you can have mode switches that you can go there. And when this is plugged into my PC, all of this is backlit. So all of this stuff is visible in the dark, so you can actually see it if I'm flying in a dark room, blah, blah, blah. So I've had this for a little bit over a year now, like about almost 2 years now that I think about it. Excellent piece of kit. It's held up so well. It'll probably outlive me at this rate just because of how well it is. It's a chunk of metal here, so it will be basically for the end of time. The only issue I had once was I accidentally dropped this and it landed on this throttle assembly. This piece that's down here is a separate piece that actually split off, but they wound up sending me a replacement for like 10 bucks, and it came from China. This is obviously before the whole tariffs thing and our current existing issues with China. But yeah, they sent me the piece, and literally I just paid for shipping. So 10 bucks for shipping, not bad, you know. It's pretty decent, so pretty awesome. That being said, I've had this for a while, and I used to use this with no jokes please, a Thrustmaster T16M, I'm sorry, T16000M, and had it for some time. I've had it for something like close to 5 years, something like that. So over time, the problem is the cup assembly at the bottom is plastic, and over time that does kind of wear out and eventually just died very slow death. So for about a year now, maybe a little bit over a year, I haven't been just really anything, and that's why the throttle assembly has been away. But for my birthday, I asked last year actually, hey, I did my research. I wanted this one stick, and again, I'm a big believer in buy once, cry once, and but you know, it's a good piece of kit. So I got this bad boy, and this comes from a company called Virpil, and they do all of their stuff very high quality. I already opened this box, but the inside box hasn't been touched. The only thing I took out of there was just the wrapping to kind of keep this all nice and cushioned. But I am also not showing my label there that has my address on it, so we'll keep that off to the side. But as you can see here, here's the box. Granted, it's upside down. I apologize. And Virpil controls. It took a while because I actually ordered this late September of 2025 and just got to me today. So quite some lead time there, but you know what they say about quality, it's worth waiting for. So I'm gonna quickly take out this box out of here real quick, and we'll do a proper unboxing. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here we go. Here's the box. There also came a label that came with it. I do apologize. I'm actually on a set of just random Amazon boxes that I had laying around. I don't have a proper table right this second in this room, and anything else that I have available is not available at this moment for various reasons. In any case, here is, this is actually one of their newer sticks that they have. It's in their Cadet series, which is slightly more inexpensive. However, it's still a pretty decent kit. All the important components of this is made out of metal. So again, this should last me till I die. So at that point, I guess it goes on to Josh, and we'll see how he likes doing his flight sim stuff. Now, this is a right-handed. I can change this assembly here to be a left-handed, but it is some additional cost to get to that. Eventually over time, because of Star Citizen, it's a 6 degrees of freedom type thing, and I might get another one just to handle that. But for DCS purposes and Microsoft Flight Sim, the throttle assembly would be just fine. That being said, note that you can actually have the base. You can actually have like a throttle setup, which is basically this left-handed version, but canted, kind of like 45 degrees. So it will do the forward and backwards movement, which will be like kind of up and down. This has a ton of buttons that can be mapped. There's like a multi-switch right over here, if I remember correctly, where it can switch to different modes, which then remaps the buttons to other things. So like I said, it is an extremely quality piece of kit. So here we go, and I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed. So this will be a little tricky to do with a single hand, but let me move this over here. I apologize for moving around this camera and or getting this all up in your face. There we go. Here's the back, just some more stuff. I apologize it's upside down, but I wanted to get this open right over here. So, pardon me, pardon my nails. Here we go. Flap, flap. It's very well packaged, as you can see. It can be, I'm pretty sure my UPS guy just tossed it at the front door because the actual box itself is a little roughed up. But here we go. Not sure what's in here. Let's take a look. And, oh, looks like a USB cable. Looks like some Allen wrenches for adjustment purposes. And a solid USB cable. Looks like USB-A to USB-C, which is intriguing. And it is a solid cable. So it's very hefty. So this cable will last me for quite some time. Okay, pushing this off to the side. Let's go ahead and get these guys out the door. All right, push it over to there. Here's the stick, very well cushioned in this bubble wrap. I will say that this actually came from the Virpil warehouse in Tampa, Florida. I had asked them if it was okay to pick it up at their location. They said sure, but they were only open during Monday through Fridays, and I do work Monday through Fridays, so unfortunately I wouldn't be able to make it. So I had them just ship it to me. Now they did overnight it, so that's fantastic. But there we go. And the weight on this is solid, but not overwhelming. So I'm going to put that bad boy to the side. Nothing else in this box, so just put that back. Now, for my kit, I do like to keep the boxes just in case I need to send it back to the factory for some reason. However, I will just put that to the side for now. All right, here we go. So let's go ahead and do this and get this unwrapped. And guys, I will tell you, I am so stoked. I've been flying with mouse and keyboard, sometimes mouse and throttle, but mainly mouse and keyboard for the better part of almost 2 years. So, oh, my apologies. I'm going to try to use both hands to pull this out. Here we go. I apologize. Move that over. There it is. Ooh. And move this out of the base. It's a little bit more compact than I would have seen. I don't know why I would have thought it would have been bigger. Whoop, move that over there. It's getting snagged. You know how it is with the bubble wrap. Let's see if I could do... Nope, that won't work. 1 second, folks. Move this over here. See what we do. It's very snaggy. But that's because this is solid metal at the bottom. Oh, there we go. Okay. Here it is. Awesome. Move this box over. Just a little bit to the side. And very much the weight is down over here. This is the, for purposes of making sure that this stays put when it's on my desk and doing some very interesting maneuvers. This will help keep it down. Now, this does have brackets on the bottom where I can mount this to a bracket mount. Although it has these rubber pedals, or shoes, whatever you want to call it, where it can stay put on a desk. Clearly, this box setup they have right now is not solid, so this is going all over the place. However, eventually, I do have this bracket system that I've seen on Amazon where I can mount this bad boy plus the throttle assembly, and they wind up actually clamping to the side of your desk, and they'll clamp, and then it's down, and then that bracket that's down there, you can actually attach these bad boys to. So they'll be kind of like at this angle, and perfect angle for when you're sitting down. And then since they're clampable, you can actually unclamp and move them off to the side when they're not in use, and then go from there. So let's do a circle round view of this guy. As you can see, it's beautifully molded. It's got this rubber gasket type system here. You can take off the top stick, as I kind of mentioned before. This does have the X, Y, and Z axis. So the Z axis is this twist side to side. So this makes it do it as if it was a rotor pedal system. All the insides are in here. This is completely made out of metal. This is solid metal in here. And this also helps keep the weight centered down towards the bottom. Moving this bad guy around, you can see all of the important components are all metal. This part here is like this high tensile ABS plastic. This insert right here is like this rubberish insert. It's really interesting and it's very grippy. Over here, we do have this lever. I'm not sure what this is for, but it's solidly in place. I don't want to send this flying, so we'll leave it as is. This is like a little parking brake thing that you can do. Over here we have this dual stage trigger system, so you can keep it up here. That's the first one, and it records that, and then if you press it again, that's another button press. Very cool for like missiles and what have you. And of course you've got your normal trigger. And by the way, all these buttons are just as equal quality as the ones I have on my throttle system. Very, very cool. I have smaller hands, but this just falls into place, and I cannot tell you how amazing all of this feels. I do have to stretch my thumb just a touch to press that button, but not by much. This one feels okay. This one is perfect. These all click in as well, so that's an additional button press that you can do. It's like a little cuppy type feel. If you notice, it's kind of like inside concave. This is that mode switch I was telling you about. It just goes up and down. I don't foresee myself using that one that much, so I might bind it to something else. It does have two LEDs here that will tell you what mode they're in, if I remember correctly. I do like the fact that each one of these buttons have different tactile feels to them. So if you're touching one of these buttons, you don't necessarily need to look at them to see what they are. You could just do by feel. And then after multi-hours, you can then go ahead and click on them. It has a nice little thing over here. It's 4-way hat switch, 4-way hat switch, well, 5-way with the click inside. This one's just a push button. This one's also a push button, 4-way, 4-way. So there's multiple accesses that you can do. Clearly front, back. Ooh, that back has a good resistance there. And then side to side, the spring tension is amazing. I might have to loosen it up a little bit just because it's a little tense right now. So that's where the Allen key wrench comes in, and I can go ahead and take care of that. So that's fine. I'm not going to go ahead and open this bad guy up. You can actually do have serviceable entry into the where the insides are. It's the cam system is all metal inside, so it will last forever. It's not plastic like the Thrustmaster series, so it will be super amazing. I believe these switch to let you help release the stick, actually, if I remember correctly, but I don't know. I'll have to check the manual later on. So that being said, I will have to get all these buttons mapped for each one of the major games that I'm planning to play this with. The main one is going to be Star Citizen. Eventually, I'm not sure if I'll get another one, but a left-handed version of this, so I can do hands-on stick and stick. For 6 degrees of freedom type games, that's kind of important because you can do three-dimensional maneuvering in that fashion. But for DCS, for Microsoft Flight Sim, the throttle system would work just fine. Although theoretically, I can use some of the hat switches on my throttle to do 6 degrees of freedom type scenarios there as well. But, you know, it's just more tactile to do it that way. So in any case, I am super excited about this, like super excited. It's funny that it took almost a year to get here, so my birthday is actually rolling around again in next 2 weeks. So it feels almost like an early birthday present, but it's a late birthday present. It's confusing. In any case, thank you all for watching. I know this video has taken way too long. If you've stood by here all this time, thank you so much for listening to me and just my geeking out over this piece of kit. It's amazing. And I hope to catch you on the flip side. Safe travels, my friends.